it says that they made the call on Wednesday night. So that was last night. So what Nicki posted is her basically responding to anybody who is trolling her. Say, so while we're here, on Nicki, she has been targeted for swatting. So actually, you know what? Yeah, let me just read the article or whatever it's on. Yeah, TMZ article. So it says superstar rapper Nicki Minaj is the latest high-profile target of a swatting call this week as law enforcement personnel swarmed her LA area property Wednesday night, responding to a report of a shooting at her house. So, okay, I'm just reading the article for the first time right here, right now. So Wednesday night, that was last night. Interesting. Okay, I'll tell you why. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ shortly after 7 p.m. yesterday, the LA County Sheriff's Department received a call reporting an assault at a residence in Hidden Hills where Nicki lives. Deputies rushed to the scene where they found no one at home and no issues in the area. The LA Times reports an unidentified person called the sheriff's business line, not 911. They called the sheriff's business line, not 911. I don't know, like, what's the distinction there? Why is that different? I mean, because that's what happened. But what is the sheriff's business line, and how do you even get that? Like, what? They called the sheriff's business line to report someone had shot at a Black woman at Nicki's address, and two people were still at the scene. The call was later classified as swatting. So they to report someone had shot at a Black woman, and two people were still at the scene. Nicki has previously dealt with being the target of swatting, in which a caller reports an incident in order to provoke a massive law enforcement response at their target. In August and July of 2023, LA County deputies were told someone had been shot at her house in the July incident that Nicki's child was being abused. The caller in Wednesday night's incident has not been identified. This follows a tragic swatting event in Atlanta in which a 911 caller told police a naked woman was being assaulted at a residence. Yes, where rapper Young Scooter was present. When officers responded, he ran out the back and ended up tearing a femoral artery, jumping a fence, and later died as a result of the injury. Rest in peace to him. No illegal activity was found at the house. That caller was later identified as a one-time reality TV contestant, and she was arrested and charged with making a false report to the police. Child, they already locked her up and got her, arraigned and everything. And so, like, why they can't find these people who's calling this shit on Nicki? We're told Nicki and her family were not even on the West Coast at the time of the incident. So that's why, because this morning I woke up around 5 o'clock and, I come on Instagram and I see that Nicki, posted a video of, just like the city, like New York City, like the skyline, the buildings and stuff. And I'm like, bitch, I know shade. I was kind of gagging. Like, I woke up, like, it was like 5 something. I was gagging. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, oh, Nicki in New York or whatever. So then I go on Twitter because it said by the time I woke up, it said like posted 5 hours ago. So it's been 5 hours since she posted that. So I'm like, oh, like in my head, I'm kind of gagging a little bit. So I go on Twitter to see what everybody else is saying, because if I'm gagging in the timeline gagging, because bitch, I don't gag at nothing. So, child, the timeline was still fucking quiet, okay? And the child, I mean, in terms of this, so I mean, I see that they said a little bit of, but yeah, like I was like, so now it makes sense. It makes sense um, so I saw this, yeah, at 5 a.m. But the news about her being swatted didn't come out until whenever it did, earlier in the afternoon or late morning or whatever. And so now it makes sense. Because I'm like, okay, so she's posted up in New York, like for what? And so now it makes sense, because in the article, like I said, this was my first time reading it. It says that they made the call on Wednesday night. So that was last night. So what Nicki posted is her basically responding to anybody who is trolling her, saying, bitch, I'm not even home. Okay, that's why she posted this, because she had found out last night that that's what happened.
They be like, yo, what the fuck is it gonna take to get rid of this bitch? You can't get rid of me, bitch. I'm not going nowhere.
And so I, there were other what's it called, like theories on Twitter. Of course, because the fan base is like, oh, like, she's in New York. Like, well, here's the thing. How long y'all think Nicki been in New York? I have no idea. Okay, later, Nick. Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you. I have no idea, how long Nikki could have been in New York, how long she is here, why she's here, child. So I did see some theories on Twitter and stuff, and some barbs were asking like, oh, like not VMA, the Met Gala fittings, because the Met Gala is the first Monday of May, so we have about 3 weeks until the Met Gala. And what's it called? Lists of who is allegedly invited or attending have come out. Nikki's name is on it, and I'm not really moved by that stuff because in my mind, Nikki been in LA all this time, So what y'all think? PBG says, is she finally going to work? Who knows? But the timing of the SWAT call was weird. She's probably gonna drop something. Yeah, child. We'll see. So yeah, I wouldn't even really want to talk about that. But prayers to the petties. Hope everybody is safe and sound. Love that they're in the city. Hopefully, I don't know if Nikki feels, I don't know. Like, why is she in New York? I want to know why is Nikki's in New York. That's what I want to know. What is going on? Is she going to the Met Gala? Will she gag us, or is she just spending time in New York? And I was thinking like, because like Nikki spent a lot of time in New York after the tour wrapped up, and so I'm wondering like, does she want to move back to the East Coast, or does she like the East Coast better? Like, does she feel more at home here? It would make sense, but like, yeah, I'm just still wondering, like, what? Why is Nicki in New York? Just do what says. I think the next single will be called Dopamine, child. Why you think that? Hopefully, it's something to do with Pink Friday Nails, or it could be related to the shoe releases. I'm going to wait for the prices to drop. Facts. Because I like the new shoe drop better than the first one to me. Cartel concerts are tomorrow and Friday. Oh yeah. So all of the Jamaicans, all of the Caribbeans is gonna be outside this weekend because Vibes Cartel. I mean, there's a concert happening at the US UBS Arena, which is the same arena like in Queens where Nicki had her last tour show. So Vibes Cartel is headlining along with a lot of other Jamaican artists. So it's Vibes Cartel, I believe, his first show in New York City and in America. I mean, I don't know. Since he's been released from prison. So yeah, a lot of people are outside, but I don't really think Nicki has anything to do with that, at least directly, because what, she was just shading him just a couple fucking weeks ago because what he said, Cardi and Lil Kim named in some interview or whatever. So, child, I don't know, child. I'm just talking, but yeah, she could probably just be chilling, and so I'm just wondering, like, as she gets older, like, does she like being in New York more? Some people in one of my group chats was talking about like, she should have a penthouse in the city. She should buy a mansion in New Jersey. Yeah, I kind of think that Nikki should buy some property. And she's talked about this though. What was it like back in 2022 when she just popped up in New York? I can't really remember, or it was 2023. I'm really not sure, but she said that like on Queen Radio or something like that. Like she was looking for property or whatever. I think this was back when Queen Radio was on AMP. Yeah. And so yeah, like I definitely do think that Nikki should have some property on the East Coast in Jersey. I don't know if she should necessarily have a mansion, but I mean, what else? I mean, so like yeah, I do think she should have some property because clearly she liked to be in New York, and yeah, I think that's fine, like she's getting older. She probably thinks everything in LA is fake. So, you know, I hate many Mondays now. Facts. It just makes me mad when I see Pink Friday Nails asking people for content. No shade, no shade, no shade. That's why I had to unfollow them because I'm like, I told y'all, I don't want to see, I do not want to see not one post from Pink Friday Nails, child, until they release some new goddamn designs. That's the only thing I want to see. Wake me up when they do that. Other than that, don't want to see it.
I'm not going no fucking where. Barbs, I love you, Barbs.